Okay, we're in Act 10. We've got new vendors. Lily's back with her full gem suite. Whalem is here as our new weapon and armor vendor. He does have stuff. He's starting to sell, not like super endgame, but like kind of endgame items. And then there's, who's this, Lonnie? Yeah, Lonnie's got our caster shenanigans, which we, legally could look out for like rares and such. There's a rare belt, but not important. There's Sin, and then there's Divinia, who's the person in charge of, what is that mechanic called? Sanctum, which is a shithole, so we're not going to even look at that. Okay, but we're going to start Act 10 by heading to the Cathedral rooftop, because we have to go save Steve Bannon. Bannon is off to the side here, and he requires rescuing. So, up to the Cathedral Apex is where we previously fought Kitava, remember? And there's Steve Bannon, watching, waiting, lurking. He just saw Halley's Comet, and little Guadalupe just killed, what was a boss even? He's gone so fast. I don't know, but Steve Bannon is saved. I go back to the docks and talk to him again, and then we could really, what the fuck? Get out of here. Then we could really begin Act 10. I'm gonna grab a Quicksilver flask just because my flasks have not been being replaced too often because they're pretty unimportant. I should, in theory, be using a mana flask. I simply won't because I'm not going to be clicking it. I refuse to click flasks. And eventually I'm going to be at the stage where I'm automating my flask, so it's much less important. Back to the Cathedral rooftop. We're going to progress through this zone. And we're going to head to the main square, which is going to act as our central through line for the rest of Act 10. Don't forget, these unique mobs we're fighting now are going to be technically maybe easier feeling because they have 50% less life, right? Or the 25% less life, so things that were kind of giving us a problem before might be kind of evening out. Whatever the boon of having Wrath and Zealotry kind of evens out from the amount of added life, but having a Mercenary does gives you 25% increased quantity, which is way good. Outside zone, a couple dawns like that. Okay, off the roof into the Ravaged Square. Now the way I clear and progress through this act is I actually go down first, and I go do the control block Valenta side quest, because I actually like that waypoint better than the central hub waypoint at the Ossuary. These are words, if you don't know Path of Exile, it's just gibberish, and that's fine. But TLDRs, we're going to go do the side quest first. Okay, going down and into the control blocks. Here is our waypoint. I wonder if I'm going to get a level before we fight the boss, because there is a keystone that I want to pick up that is kind of important for mana-based totem builds. And normally this keystone I don't like, but I actually like it a lot for builds that don't need their mana, but use their mana. What I mean by that is I don't actually spend my mana really for casting spells. My totem costs 12 mana. It's like basically nothing, right? So I'm really, in my Frostblink and my Assassin's Mark are just pulling from my life tap. So it's like I'm mana, but I'm not mana. My mana is basically just an extended health pool through my arcane cloak and whatnot. So for me, it's nice to grab this keystone that we'll talk about in a moment. Those are kind of crazy boots. 30% movement speed, tier 1 life, double res, room for the triple res. I feel like I'm not going to be able to replace those boots. That helm's pretty good also, but those boots. Let's grab the boots. Those boots are good. Alright, here's the boss, Valenta in this arena. He does a couple little AoE kind of mechanics in here, environmental things. It is like a dive bomb attack. It's not really a concern. In my experience, if you just run in circles, you'll never get strafed by this because it can't. He doesn't strafe in circles per se. He strafes in straight lines. So every 3 strafes he resets and does another mini phase, then a rotation. Every time he resets, we replace the totems, run in circles once more, like a professional circle runner. Okay, back down the boss goes, back down the totems go, and then there goes Valenta. Pretty much donezo. Nice. Go back to town, talk to Lonnie for a reward, and this is a passive point. We're going to put that passive into Agnostic. So what Agnostic does is it puts your ES at 0, which we don't use anyway, so it doesn't matter. When not on full life, right, it sacrifices 20% of our mana per second to recover that much as flat life. So if I were to be dying or taking damage, it starts eating my mana and starts recouping my life pool. Okay, recovering that amount. So it's actually super comfy if you're playing a skill that doesn't use a lot of mana for actually surviving or casting, which that's what we are. And so it just like strictly helps with dots, especially. Initial hits it doesn't make a difference for, but dots it's really good for. So as we put more points in mana and our mana pool goes higher, it just makes it that much better. Okay, so now we're going to head back to the control blocks, and we are going to come out of here, go up, back into the Ravaged Square, and then we're just going to circle right instead of left and do the entire right side now. There's a couple quests on the way. Okay, here's the first instance. This is the Reliquary. Just a side quest. We don't have to technically do it, but we're just doing them all, so I may as well. I see a ghost. Alright, there's the Pearl Case, there's the Teardrop, and that is the end of that little side quest. I think this is refunds? Nope, it's a belt. Well, that's okay. We're going to take a leather belt, and it's not good. Alright, going back to the Reliquary, we're going to use this exit now, and we're going to loop back right, and then up through to the Ossuary. Alright, here is the waypoint, and here is the Ossuary. We have in here into the Bone Pits a lab trial and a quest. And technically, I think the starting mechanic for Sanctum, which we're not going to do. All my homies hate Sanctum. Bastions, they are just next level fucked up. You just gotta, like, not fight Bastion mercs in hardcore, because they are self-sufficient demons that can't be stopped. Oh! Calamity. It's a funny one. It's a Herald body, but I don't need it. But thank you. Okay, here is the actual quest of the area. Grabbing this Elixir of Allure. Hey, look at the leather belt. Here's our chaos damage craft. Now we have over here is our lab trial. Alright, so we have to walk through and pull some levers, but between Arcane and Agnostic now, we just really don't take damage. You can actually watch as I take, like, any amount of damage. It just barely touches my life pool, or it hits the Arcane cloak, or it gets gobbled by Agnostic. I'm pretty junky. Back in town, we're going to hand in some quests, and if we wanted to right now, because we have them, we could just go do lab. Kind of inclined to just go do lab. Kind of want to craft a weapon upgrade real quick. The bases are so much better now. It's like an opal wand, even with like any amount of flat here. This like might be more damage, 4.3, 3.7. Maybe I'm just full of shit. I have no essences, unfortunately. I have no regals. I could just buy a couple white wands and alch them. Maybe a Rog could make me something. It's so early on. I don't even have enough basic currency to do anything. So with Danig, I could purchase Rog currency. And we have one wand we're able to craft here, although it's not a good base is the problem. Well, we could give it a go. This is... see if we could, I don't have enough currency to even reroll once. Okay. So that's that. Cool. Yeah, I think we could just Faustus gamble some weapons. Maybe get a better wand here. 1.5k per. It has to hit a decent rare. 90% increased lightning damage. Is that just enough? It is just enough. Not great, to be honest. It really doesn't have anything else going for it, but 90% lightning damage is a lot of lightning damage. Oh, it's actually a hybrid lightning roll. It's a lightning prefix and suffix. We could try for our 5-link. Well, that's been unlucky as of yet. Well, worst case scenario, the other wand will be better, especially when we craft something on it. My options are semi-limited. I think we're going to go cast speed. I can replace my boots, which are just more life, right? Yep, just more life. Same boots, but better. I'm actually under-capped on lightning res now. So we can see what for things where you have room for an open suffix, like eventually I'd like to put on a res/chaos res roll on this. We can even see where that is. So in this case, it's rank 1 for the one we want. The hybrid roll is from Conservatory. So we could prioritize doing a Conservatory map as like something we, you know, care about. But I'm back to being capped res, and I have a little bit more life and mana now. So we're feeling relatively good, so let's go do lab. It's only Merc lab, so I don't really have to look at, why does I think I must have completed all lab trials? Ossuary, not yet. Did I never click it? Holy shit, I may have never clicked it. Well, the instance is still open, thankfully, but I guess I just pulled the levers that never actually clicked the thing. Yep, I just never walked down the middle. That's very cool. All right. And there we go. There's my lab trial done. Okay, now let's go do lab. Okay, Merc Lab. It's the exact same as the other two labs we've done, but it's just a little bit harder and is a little bit longer. We're going to approach it a very similar way, and we're just going to look for dark shrines. If we want to, we can grab them. If not, it's not a big deal. Aside from that, yeah, it's a level 68 zone, so it's technically like map tier, so I could just be knowledgeable that that's happening. And I could go do like any sort of side rooms I want for lab troves or curious, but I'm just not even going to bother. Right now, we're just trying to walk through to get our ascendancy. We have Agnostic, so we're a lot safer when it comes to the traps. We're pretty much capped everything res. Decent chunk of life. Feeling fine. Not sure if there's a gold door, which we'd have to go do, or if there is anything else we have to do, but yeah, we're just going to walk on through. Hope we find some dark shrines. I could check P.O Labs for... That looks like a smuggler's almost. It's a storm cultist. We could check P.O Labs to see if there's specific dark shrines, but I'm just going to kind of wander around, and that's fine too. Ooh, 2 scarabs. It's our first scarabs, I think. Scarabs are fragments you could add on to your map device to augment a map, and normally add some sort of mechanic or density or rarity and just juice it. Because we're agnostic especially now, these lab traps do like fucking nothing. I mean, I could... Not gonna really just do it, but I could just sit on these traps for some fucking time and just take very little damage. Okay, first aspirants, we have gargoyles. And again, if you're playing it safe, like I most likely will be here, we're just going to kill all the gargoyles, do all the mechanics the easy way first. I have no interest of added difficulty right now. So if we happen to phase Zaro before we kill all of them, that's okay too. But we're going to try to make it easier. I think we just have too much damage. Yeah, we just have too much damage, so we're just going to phase them instantly before I can finish off the gargoyles, and that's okay. It looks like it could be a dark shrine down here, so we're just going to check it out. Oh, it's a decorative crate. Okay, so these are the decorative crates hold items that augment the outcome of fighting a Zaro. They typically disable one mechanic during the fight, making it a little bit easier. Not very important. You never would try to get them. Ghosts. Ghosted porcupines. Ah, we have a gold door. And we need a gold door, we gotta go get a gold key. Or that is the meme. Well, looks like the gold door and key is in zone for this one. Sometimes they're out of zone. Maybe it's just Uber Lab that's out of zone, but yeah, they're really easy when they're in zone. Grab the gold key. There must be a golden door. I think there is gonna be, friend. I think you might be right, Mr. Zaro. Okay, so left or right? I don't know which one's which, but let's go left, because arbitrarily picked it. Hey, that was correct. Aspirant Trowel. Nice. Alright, so we have the item that's going to disable the rod thing. I don't know where the fuck it went, but we got that. That just means that whenever we hit one of these curse things, they're going to instantly disable, I believe. Doink. Yeah, it's gone. So, yeah, so now we've got these other 2 curse things to contend with. They're going to put curses on us. I don't really want curses on us, but it's, you know, kind of whatever. Again, we're going to have so much damage, it won't make too much of a difference, but I'll try to kill the curse things before he phases. Can't tell if I got it in time. I did. Okay, so I got that one. Not sure which curse that is. It's either Ellie weakness or it's vulnerability. Either one, I'm actually Ellie weak capped, and for vulnerability, I'm not really too spooked by that, because the large part of that that's scary is the bleeds. Extra fizz, we've got endurance charges. I'm pretty okay there. You know, don't need a lacerate to the face. Guadalupe wasn't raised by no bitch. She grew up in the fucking slums of Nogales. It's a Mexican border town. Okay, Sepulchre Halls, and this should be the last area before aspirants. Still might be a dark shrine. We haven't naturally found any, but that's not. This could be one. There we go. Alright, we got a dark shrine. What do we want? What is the best case scenario? Twice Blessed is pretty good. That's 2 uses of the font. Free Unique is nice. Movement ceases, tension mounts. That's a good one, I guess, for spookiness, which is lab traps are disabled during the actual boss fight. You know, I guess it's the best from a hardcore POV, but it doesn't. Lab isn't difficult, so I'm not really worried. But here it is. It's even easier now. Now we're doing neutered lab. Alright, so all the lab traps are disabled. There's no more Roombas, no more spike things. There's still going to be the mechanics that we left behind. So that's going to be 2 gargoyles, and looks like vulnerability is on me, which is not too scary. I'm going to run in circles so good here. And there's that. Okay. So, yeah, that's that done. I mean, we could do Uber right now if we had the ability. It would be fine. So we're going to pick up Arcane Blessing. This is what gives us Arcane Surge, grants a 20% more spell damage thing, and we always have it when our totems hit things, which is all we really care about. So more Arcane Surge effect, mana regen. It itself gives tons of mana regen and cast speed. That's a huge DPS increase, especially when you pick up the Arcane Capacitor section with all that Arcane Surge stuff. So that's going to be super duper great. A couple keys. Anything from the keys? Nope. And what do we have at the font? We have gem level stuff, sacrifice for keys, transform a gem to a transfigured. So we didn't even get quality, which is the only thing I really cared about. I don't think I want any of these things. We have some gems. They're just base shitty gems, though. Well, we could give it a portal. We'll never use a portal. We put a portal in. We get a treasure key. We get 2 treasure keys. Okay. These could legally do something. Alright, an iron ring. It's not a ring we really want. It's a venopuncture, which is a poison chill ring, but that's fine. We'll just vendor that. And, yeah, that's about it. Not much else going on here. We've got our 3rd lab, so we are happy dappy. We're going to walk on out. It's kind of hard to represent, but I don't have any mana regen supplements while in an instance, so I have 122 mana regen. We'll try to showcase it when I have my mana regen from Arcane Surge active, because it is going to be a substantial difference. So 135, I guess, while walking around because of the power charges, right? I get a little bit from power charges. But look when I have Arcane Surge active. 153. So that's like a non-negligible difference. I like that. So now we're walking to the right here. We're looping around, and we have to go do the inverse of the chambers from Act 5. This is like the last thing before the Kitava push. Yeah, I did gain about a full support's worth of DPS, though, from this Arcane Surge shenanigans, so that's pretty substantial. Here is the Torch Courts. You gotta walk through here. It's just a tunnel zone. Nothing actually happening. Whoa, that's actually not bad. Shadow and Dust is a kind of a cool unique. I don't remember if Rampage works for totems, though. Rampage is an interesting mechanic that stacks up and starts tracking your kill count. And as a byproduct, you get a variety of buffs and little triggered effects. But I don't know if it actually works with totems, because again, totems are you and until they're not you. So we can actually pretty easily check. I'd have to change my links around. What is this? This is Arcane Cloak. I could live life without Arcane Cloak for 10 seconds. Let's see. We'll see if I get Rampage. You'll see Exile shoot out a bunch of projectiles, and the right side of my screen will spike up. I do! Okay. So Rampage does work with totems. I wasn't sure, to be honest. That's interesting. I don't think I want that at the moment, but that is interesting. It's crit chance, crit multi, and everything else is a dead stat, but... yeah, that's something that would probably toss a Valorb on, and if it, I can't remember if on-hit effects even work for totems. I don't think they do. Again, totems operate with this, like, really weird subset of rules where they're you, but they're not you. Okay, out of the Torch Course and into the Desecrated Chambers. Crafting recipe for accuracy, something we do not need. Fallen Reverend could be an upgrade to our War Priest. Neither, nothing. Nothing at all. Okay, so we are done with the area and on to the Sanctum. And this boss is definitely spooky. I would say he's as spooky as Kitava, if not scarier. He just has some sort of fucked amount of scaling when it comes to his attacks. Do not get caught out by anything, because he will... that, like, one-shots you. His auto attacks, like, can one-shot you. Is spooky. Quick work, but, yeah, he can be spooky. Okay, that's the last real quest in the area. So our next thing to do, our final port of call here, is to just finish up the act. Okay, so we're going to head to the Ravaged Square and do our little talk with Innocence here, and then it's the final walk out to Kitava. And we're free at last, free at last. Through the canals, then eventually the feeding troughs, and then it's just Kitava, so we're pretty close here. Okay, the canals are done, and now we're on to the feeding trough, the final zone before Kitava. Well, this is kind of an important thing, I guess. This is the first Trarthan gem we've actually seen, Spectral Throw of Trarthus. We don't care about them, per se, but it's cool that you could technically see them in the feeding trough. They only spawn in level 60, I think 7+ zones, but I'm more interested in that one alteration. But yeah, it's cool to see a Trarthus gem nonetheless. Boy, grab this recipe for life and mana, talk to Sin, and now it's Kitava time. So Kitava is a pretty straightforward fight. Avoid ground effects, avoid AoE, kill a couple adds, and then it's mostly just avoiding his breaths. He does a couple breath attacks that do an amount of damage. Again, nothing here is going to kill us if we're remotely paying attention. That's really all this is about, is you build to slightly pay attention and you'll succeed. So we're just going to be replacing our totems every rotation of his abilities. When the heart comes out, you take him out, put him back in. He's got one little effect at the very end of the fight where he does like this big breath, but it comes from the left to the right, so we just don't stand in anything and we're fine. But otherwise that, we're going to phase him pretty damn instantly. Big X marks the spot. It just avoid the ground effects like everything else. Here comes the heart. Totems are back down. Gonna Assassin's Mark it. I'm just gonna stand here and they're gonna die. Totems are back down. On to the next phase here. He's grabbing innocence for fun. He's doing some other thing. Another breath attack. Cool. Don't stand in it. Okay, there goes Kitava's life pool, and he's down. Here comes the heart once more. And they're gonna kill the heart now. Super fucking easy. And there it goes. Hey, we got a storm cloud. Cool. Very fun and cool. Here's the pop. Now we're going to watch our res go down. And watch our res. Bonk. Still res capped, just not chaos capped, which is pretty standard. But we're above positive. We're in plus 27 because we do have double amethyst on, which is just good practice, and trying to get as much chaos res as you can. Anywhere else, it makes a substantial difference. So, heading back to the Oriath docks here, we've got a couple people to talk to clean up. Nothing really spooky. But the fun part is when we talk to Lonnie, we do get 2 passives for completing the base game, which we're going to spend on these crit multi and crit nodes for Shaman's Dominion, sorry. And that's the basis, though. That's like, that's the gist of completion. Just swap these 2 small points over here because we don't have ES anymore, so they don't do anything. And I'd rather have a small node like this mana life node, which is actually quite good for a man like myself. And we're gonna take these 2 points here in a second to get Lightning Walker because that's a nice chunk of damage. But we are technically setting sail from Oriath to this little shit coast, and we're gonna talk to Helena here. And we're going to begin what would be the basic mapping process. The only really thing to do here is grab this recipe for movement speed. Yep. And now, after we grab that, you can come in here and see all of our expedition people. We've done it. We've made the march. And now we could head all the way through the tunnel. That, is super cool, full of TNT. Ignore that. And there's like a little micro hub that you get to experience for all of one quest, which is this talk to Kirik, talk to Johan shit. We get to pick a map. I guess it doesn't even matter. We'll pick Bone Crypt because sure. And and now we get to run the map through the map device here. And then we get to start doing maps from our hideout for real. And Johan's going to want to talk about King's March, which we're going to not discuss right now. But yeah, Guadalupe has finished the acts and we are officially into maps. And the next episode we get to begin mapping.